I think it's very clear this year what the frustrations are, and people are or at least large numbers of people are making it very clear, as that script says, that they would like government to leave them alone, that they would like to keep more of what they earn. The problem is there's no reason to believe that either of these political parties will really act on that. They both are hearing it. They're feeling the heat of it, I guess I would say, Michael. They're just not seeing the light of it.
Yeah, the reality is our federal government in the last 20 years, they continue to grow, no matter who's in office. For example, right now in committee, or when they were in committee, there was a bill called H.R. 4646. A lot of people don't know about this bill. What it is, it's a proposed bill to charge or install fees for every financial transaction that you make. Every financial, and it clearly says the purpose of this bill is to drive or to decrease the national debt. We know government doesn't do that. We know when government gets more funding, what do they continue to do? They continue to spend, and that's a problem with me. They're going to take more of my money. So if I withdraw money, if I go to a financial institution and actually physically withdraw, not go to an ATM, they're going to take out money. If I go and deposit something, they're going to charge me a transaction fee. That's a problem with me. It's just another way for our federal government to take money from me. It's amazing, and it doesn't matter who's in office, and that's a problem.
Jose, we're not very happy. A poll came out today that says the greatest number of people since they started asking this question refuse to identify with either political party.
I don't blame them. Hey, there are a lot of us who are in office who cannot and will not completely identify with every platform or everything that's put out there. Do
you feel disconnected as a Texas Democrat from what the Democrats in Washington are doing?
I have to say that the Democrats in Washington are so much more liberal and polarizing than what we would accept here. I mean, my constituency here does not adhere to the way that things have been handled. The Pelosi, Rahm Emanuel methodology, it wouldn't fly here. I talk and work with my colleagues regardless of what side of the aisle they're from, and we don't separate ourselves. We don't separate ourselves on the floor of the House. We don't do it at the members' lounge. We try to get to know each other because, ironically, some of the parts of my inner city of my district have more in common with rural Texas and some of those rural Republicans than I do with suburban Texas. And then I've got the fast growth part of my district, and that's more in common with maybe a Round Rock part of Texas. So, we have to realize that this is about solving problems, and people don't care. That's the thing, is people really don't care whose jurisdiction the problem is or what party is in charge. They just want to get some solutions. Right. And the best thing is if government could, when needed, get out of the way and just let them have a life. And just, take care of the basic services, streets, highways, police, fire, basic services. And that's kind of, I took that mindset from city council and try to apply it at the state legislature.
You know what I really find amazing, and Michael, let me ask you about this first. In recent days, we've had President Obama, Vice President Biden, Senator Kerry, among others, but here are the leading lights, national leaders of that party, basically scolding their own voters. The president said Democratic voter apathy would be inexcusable. Biden told a group of Democrats at a rally to buck up for the president. They haven't even lost yet, and they are yelling at and scolding their voters. Now, if the Democrats are dispirited, which we all agree they are, this is a depressing year for Democratic voters. They're not sure how they feel about these things. Is this going to work? Is scolding them right up to Election Day going to work?
No, I don't think so. This is the one time I can say that the people in the White House, this presidency, is actually come to reality. They realize that they're going to lose seats, and I think this is why they're doing it.
But if you were trying, Jimmy, to get people to sort of, come around, 11th hour, we really need you, okay, we hear you, we get it that you're frustrated, maybe we made a few errors, this wouldn't be the way to get them, to tell them to buck up?
No, I don't think so, Jack. It's ill-conceived at its very best. I think right now there needs to be some rallying cries, I guess, for the Democratic Party. They need to be doing some cheerleading, some pep rallies. There need to be incentives for them to go out to vote. But what that tells us when you're really chastising them about the vote, it basically tells us that you have failed. It says more about you than it does about the voters. What it's saying to the voters is, look, we failed you because we don't have the issues, nor do we have the individuals that you would really want to support. So since we've lost you, all we can do is bring out the whip and try to beat you on the back and make you come to the poll.
You know, Jose Menendez, I saw, of all people, I mean, this is not a good sign, Mike Dukakis drops into the White House this week to give them some advice about the midterm elections. I mean, that sounds like a Saturday Night Live bit. Yeah. But he went in and told them, oh, you're going to be fine if you just get a message out there in these last 4 weeks and you stick to it. I don't know what these people are drinking. I mean, we're way past message. In fact, I think we're even way past anger at Barack Obama. I think they're rallying around him, thinking this is about him. I can tell you this Tea Party thing has been in the works before we ever heard of Barack Obama. This anger and frustration has been at a slow simmer, not at a quick boil. And I think if they make this personal, they are going to miss an opportunity to show that they get what people are really afraid of and frustrated by.
Well, I agree, but you know, look, I think voters need to try to wade through all of the commercials and all the stuff that are just trying to strike an emotional chord, and they need to really think to themselves, when I go in to vote, have I personally checked into what this person stands for or doesn't stand for? I think this is not a year that you can go in and just, you know, some people in the past, especially in this county, are very used to hitting the all one party
right.
one way or another. I think this is one of those years that you need to really do some homework and look at those, you know, those candidates. I mean, a perfect example is look at Delaware. I mean, in Delaware, the Republican Party or the voters has basically given up a Senate seat when they elected Miss O'Donnell. I mean, the polls clearly showed that the longtime Republican had like a 16-point lead.
But you're missing the point. They knew that guy. They knew that he had an R after his name, but they knew they couldn't count on him on the issues they care about. He would have voted with the Democrats, as he did 50% of the time when he was in the House. So, Jose, they already lost that Senate seat.
Okay, but
it was
they had
already a Democratic
they had 50% of the votes. No, see, they had half the pie. Now they're going to get 0% of the pie.
They don't want a guy who has an R after his name but votes with the other party. They would rather show their frustration. I agree. They didn't vote for Christine O'Donnell. She's not a great candidate. They voted anger. They wanted both parties to know that they're mad. Now, you might say, well, strategically that's a bad move because they lose the Senate seat. The people I'm talking to aren't counting Senate seats. They will vote any way they can to let you guys who are in office know it's over. We're frustrated. We've had enough. We're not going to be spoon-fed these establishment candidates. Mm-hmm. I mean, by your measure, it was a bad move. By their measure, even if she's defeated by 20 points, they made the point they wanted to make.
That's fine. I think that's fine.
And what's interesting to me is I see people in both parties, Michael. Karl Rove was saying verbatim what
right.
Democrat Jose Menendez just said.
Correct.
on primary night. Oh, they just gave away that Senate seat. They don't feel that way. They're not counting Senate seats.
Correct. They want to send a signal. That's all they're doing.
I don't know how else to do it. I mean, you can say, Jose, and I understand the civics lesson you're teaching us, which is you don't vote angry and you should vote for something, not against something.
Right.
But people don't know how else to do it. Can you tell them another way to do it?
No, and you know, I think Michael hits a nail right on the head that I think gets lost with so many voters. Look at the last 20 years of history and look where all the spending has gone, and try to start looking at, just go back, when was the last time this country had a budget surplus, and what happened to that budget surplus? Who spent it? Where did it go? And it would happen long before, you know, President Obama got into office. And so the other thing that's interesting, we've only had 2 years of his leadership and policies. We don't even know how this new healthcare reform is going to what the effects are going to be.